So welcome back everyone to the Here We Go Again podcast. As usual, you're joined by myself, Luke Gallagher, and Mike O'Gara, and we've got a very special guest on today, a World Cup winner, Youri Djorkaeff. How are you?
Hi guys, how are you?
Very good, thank you. It's good to have you on.
Please, I'm very happy to be connected with the Wanderers. And, it's been a long time, but it's the story of the club and the time I spent in Bolton, it will remain for the rest of my life. Okay. It was just a small parenthesis since I left, but now I'm so happy to talk to you guys.
It was a special time, Youri. I can assure you, being a fan, a very special time.
I know. We were a special team for special fans.
Very true. Very true.
So Youri, we'll start from, as I said before, at the start of your career. Obviously, your father was a footballer at a very high level as well. Were you always going to go down the path of trying to follow in his footsteps, so to speak, and become a professional footballer?
It's I have the chance at the beginning to be to really have a good relationship with my father, and I think this is helping me and helping the relation and my father too, because it's not easy, especially in sport, when you want to follow the step of your father or mother if it's a girl, but this good relation helped me to understand very quickly the need to become professional, and the real investment that you have to show at an early stage, when normally kids from 12, 14, 16 prefer to do things different than train and had a life very focused on sport. But my father really helped me. He was one of the biggest player in his age in France, captain of the national team with France. He played one World Cup in '66. And he just played in the three clubs, and he was the biggest club in France at this time. He was Lyon, Marseille, and Paris Saint-Germain. He was the first captain for PSG. It means that the legacy of my father was really, it was not heavy to carry, but he was carried like with honor and proud, and this is always something that I will have in my mind, to say, yeah, I have to continue what he's starting, and for that I wanted to all my life to have a kind of way, a straight way.
At what age then did you realise that you had a real chance of actually becoming a professional footballer?
Let's say I always be playing over ages from my ages. When I was 12, I was playing with 14, and for me, it became natural to graduate every stage and every level. At 16, I left. 15, I left home for an academy in Grenoble. But when I realized I will become professional, I think it's something that it came naturally. I never say I want to become professional. My goal and my wish was to be the best for me, to train good, to enjoy it, and professional was not the main focus. I was not obsessed by become professional. I knew I will become professional. I knew I will become a great player. I knew I will play for a big club, but I never say, yeah, I want to be professional. I want to be professional.
Your first club professionally was Grenoble. How did you get picked up by them? Did they spot you playing junior football? Is that how you ended up there?
Yeah. And at 14, I was playing in the best league for these ages. And 14 league, ages of 14, it was the league by region, and in my club, I was playing for Villeurbanne. It was an amateur club, not professional statute, and we were a strong team in this surrounding by professional youth team. And I had different choices. Lyon was interesting, Sochaux was interesting, Saint-Etienne was interesting, but Grenoble, it was a brand new academy. My father, 5 years ago, was the coach of Grenoble. He knew the people who were in charge of the academy, and they were good people. He knew that this kind of coaches will help me to grow up, and it is what's happening. I moved in Grenoble. I was 15, and at 15 and a half, I was training with a professional. I was already be involved at the professional level.
How did you find your time there? How did you adapt to the professional environment as a young man? Was it easy for you, or was it quite difficult?
What was the physicality like, Youri?
I had maybe the chance to be very creative and very good in front of the net. Scoring goal or dribbling helped me a lot. When you are kids, when you are young, you're playing with professional, high level professional, but you have this touch that not ages or experience can give you. It's not by born with this kind of touch, but it was my curriculum. And when I started to play in the second division, I was 16, and I was playing like a kid. I didn't want to say, okay, now I'm playing with a professional, I have to think like a professional. I think my energy, my enthusiasm, my youngest, it was my key to play and to play well. And is for that, since the beginning, I never thought I will. If I miss something, no, I was playing as a kid playing.
Then your next move, 1989, I believe, to Strasbourg. You were only there for a year, but it was a very successful year in terms of the way that you managed to do on the pitch.
It's it's good because it's starting from the beginning. But all my career, all my club, all my choice in my life and club was for three reasons. One was for the club. Second, it was for the fans. Or third, it was for, let's say that, or the owner, or the coaches, or someone involved in a club. And in Strasbourg, the president was Daniel Echter. Daniel Echter was very famous designer at this time, and he decided to put a lot of money for my transfer in second division. It was a lot of money. It was the highest transfer in second division. I was only 19, and he bet on the capacity that I will become much stronger and much better players. And when I moved to Strasbourg, I have the whole three topic pillow that really helped me to grow up. The fans were amazing, the team was amazing, and the people in charge, the owner Daniel Echter and the coach Gérard Banid. Gérard Banid was one of the biggest coach in France. It was all this make me much better. And it's for that I scored so many goals in Strasbourg in one season.
Yeah, I was just gonna mention that year. He scored a lot of goals in a short amount of time at Strasbourg. And when I was looking through the statistics of your career, you've scored a lot of goals, obviously an attacking midfielder, but you must be pleased with the amount of goals you managed to get during your career.
Yes, it's because I was not supposed to score at the beginning. but it's some friend of mine who know me very well. Sometimes they told me that I was obsessed by the goal, and I don't think it's true. I don't think I'm obsessed by the goal. If I'm not scoring during a game, I'm not angry, and if it's one of my coéquipiers is in better position, I prefer to give the ball. but having I really love to score. Why? Because I think it gives you first something unique in your body, and I love the way that when you score a goal, you give it emotion to the people. And I think it's for that I was willing all the time to try to have one chance, and with one chance I was scoring one goal, and all this emotion that I will receive to the people make me trying the next time the same thing to score a goal.
Then I moved to Ligue 1 with Monaco. Did it feel like a big step up to go and play at that level with Monaco? Obviously, a big club. Did it feel like a big step up in your career?
Imagine Arsène Wenger, the coach. Okay, and I restart the season in July with Strasbourg, and in September, mid-September, October, Monaco, they made a huge offer to Strasbourg for me, and in the same time I'm moving from second division for first division, but one of the best clubs in France, who were engaging in the Champions League, and best of the best, I was doing my army in France, and I was doing my military services in France, and I'm spending the first months to trying to shoot in the things, do my package and everything, and it was amazing because during my military services I signed and I make one of my biggest move in my life, because from the second division I went to first division, and it was a stranger. It was so fantastic, because from Strasbourg, north of France, northeast of France, I'm going to south of France, eating fish and swimming in an ocean when it was freezing the morning before.
Completely different lifestyle.
Completely different lifestyle, and be in this environment where every training it's a battle, because imagine 28, 29 high level player for the, you fighting for your position, and me, I was only 2 days before the matches, because on the Monday until the Thursday and the Friday I was doing my military and arriving in a club, and it was not easy, but I did it. First year, after 6 months, I won my first trophy, the Coupe de France, with Monaco, and I was very proud. The time in Monaco, it was I learned a lot. Arsène Wenger, he was one of the most important coach I trained with, and I really learned surrounded by big player, and in an environment where Monaco is not easy, because you don't have this passion, or not passion, but pressure of the fans, of the journalists, But at this time we were pretending and doing one of the best football in Europe.
Youri, just one from me. What was it like to play under Arsène Wenger? Because obviously you see what he did at Arsenal and the English game. Just back in France, what was it like just to play under him? It must have been something special.
Yes, very something special, because when I moved in Monaco, I was 20, but young for my age, but playing since my 15 and a half, 16 in second division, I was already, formatted in my position, already have my skill, and Arsène asked me to do things that never I was asking by any coaches. My quality was to give it passage, to dribble, to score some goal. And Arsène starting to say, yeah, but you have to be on the right side to defend and I didn't understand at the beginning. It was sometimes we fight with Arsène, but in a good way. He have his opinion on the strategies and tactic things, like he did it with Arsenal, and did what for his whole career. And but it was good for me because he was pushing me over my limit, and I was doing the same for you because I knew that I needed, and he knew that he needed me, and this was a good agreement, and I was really happy to have tough time with Arsene Wenger.
During your time at Monaco, 1993, I believe you earned your first cap for the French national team. We all know how successful you were for the national team, but to get your first cap for the national team, it must have been a proud moment for you.
It's a proud moment for me. You know, the when I was kids, remember imagine my sofa watching the national team, starting to watching, because my dad finished at 1972, but all the time when we were watching the game and national team, we were waiting for the anthem and dressing and stand up and singing and suddenly is you on the blue short inside the screen and singing this anthem for your country, and it was something special. And I remember when I trained, first training was Cantona, Papin, Ginola, Boli, so they all big name, And I said, this is not the most difficult things to come once. The most difficult is to stay. And I remember, because the first day everybody was nice, everybody, the young kids arriving in Le Bleu. But the first thing what I said when I'm back in my room, I said, I will do everything what is possible to stay forever in the national team.
Yeah, and then after Monaco, it was PSG.
Yes.
But you weren't there for long, but it was a successful time, wasn't it? I mean, looking at what you managed to win whilst you were there, you managed to win the Trophée des Champions and the Cup Winners' Cup as well. That must have been another special time for you being at Paris.
For me, what I did in Monaco, it was unbelievable. In 4 years, spending more than 4 years spending in Monaco. We lost UEFA. Now the Coupe de Coupe final with Monaco. It was the first time that the club went to a final. We lost in semi-final of Champions League against Milan when Milan beat Barcelona. We had a great years, and I have many opportunities to live outside France. But for me, it was one passage obligatoire. The passage obligatoire for me was PSG, because if you want to be somewhere one of the best players in your country, you need to play for PSG. And for me, PSG, it was from my story of what I lived with my father, but it was more for me to make an impact on the life and on the story of the club. And I shined 2 years, and 1 year was amazing. 1 year we won the only trophy today, if you're thinking it is the only trophy, European trophy that PSG won. And another one, Club Trophée des Champions. But amazing year, amazing things. The three pillars of the public teams, president, coaches was here, and it was one of the best moments in my life. Why? Because I was playing in my country, I was playing for my club that I always sharing, and I was on the top of my level.
How different or similar, maybe, is Paris Saint-Germain to what it was then to what it is now? Because if you look at it now, they're just dominating the French game, aren't they? And they've done that for 5, 6, 7 years now.
I think it's what is different? Maybe it was a little bit more difficult in our time. Why? Because I will compare my time like in England today. Any club can beat any club. No, a small club in England can beat the biggest club. Today in France, you know that when starting the league, Paris will won the first places.
Yeah.
In my time, you play against Bordeaux, you have difficulty. Marseille, Monaco, Nantes, Saint-Etienne, Lyon. Every game it's a battle. But today it's a little bit more easier for PSG. For that, they're suffering when they play in Champions League, because the level of Champions League is not the same that in the league.
Yeah, because when I was growing up watching football, there was sort of a time where Lyon were the dominant team in France, and that's almost shifted. And you wonder, obviously Paris are backed by multi-billionaires. You wonder why Lyon had that era of success. Why did they win the league 5, 6, 7 years in a row?
Seven. Yeah, 7. Yeah.
So what would you say the reasons for that were? Because obviously, if you're looking at Paris, they can buy anyone they want to buy. Really,
I think it's Lyon what make different with all the club. Maybe not in the world, but in Europe, Lyon is one of the biggest and strongest academy in the world.
Yeah, big time.
Yes, you have every year you have at least 3-4 players coming from the academy, but they can easily play in the first division, and from the first team you have easily 2-3 players to sell it for a different team. It's a roll-up of expertise and competence that Lyon carry through an enigmatic and charismatic president, Olas, who is since now 20 years is running his club, maybe one of the best presidents in the world. Yes.
And then it was a move for you in 1996. Your next chapter was to move into Italian football with Inter. How did you feel about moving into Italy? Still quite a young man. Is the football and the lifestyle? Is it very different to the football and lifestyle?
Forget what you're thinking about football and lifestyle. Italy, it's at this time, Italy is the best league in the world.
Absolutely, in the 90s.
In the 90s,
yeah. In every club, you have at least 4 or 5 stars. But when I say stars, the biggest player in the world were playing in Italy, and it was amazing, the tension, the pressure, and the atmosphere in your life. The only moment where you were, let's say, you were just yourself, it was the time of the game. The rest is crazy. It's always, it never stop, and you train a lot. You spend the whole day at the training ground. You traveling all the time. You stay at the hotel before and after the game. You spend your life in traveling and training and trying to play the best you can, because you have thousands and million people waiting every Sunday for something special.
Yeah.
And then the next,
like in England, trust me, I was. It's completely different in England. In England, what is important is the game. In Italy, what is important is everything plus the game. In England, only the game.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I agree with that very much so.
The next silverware for you, Youri, was the UEFA Cup in 1998. Lazio in the final, managed to beat them. Was that a special moment for you as well? And obviously, doing my research, the final was in France as well. So was it kind of a doubly special moment for you?
Yeah, the final is in my stadium, Parc des Princes. Parc des Princes is really my place, my home. I scored many goals with the national team and with Paris Saint-Germain, I just this final, it was maybe one of the biggest moments for Inter, even if they won the Champions League after. But it was it was the first trophy, the real big trophy for Moratti area. When he arrived at the head of the club at Société, and he's starting to invest in creating what he was part of when his father was the owner of Inter. But what he did, he gave it a visage, a sensibility, and a character to this team. You know, when we were talking about international, it was, you know, as a band of brothers, you know, men, strong character, you know, fighting for the shot, fighting
a
for
real
the
powerhouse.
Yes, you know, San Siro, it was a volcano, you know, it's La Curva Nord when we were playing in front of the Curva Nord. I was remember when I was finished the game, you cannot hear what you're saying because your ear is full of the noises from the stadium. Amazing. This is what at the end you realize that you're born for this kind of moment, you know. And Inter was really the peak of my life because, like you say, in '98 I won the UEFA Cup in Paris, and 2 months after I won the World Cup with the national team. You know, it was 3 months, unbelievable.
We'll move on to France '98, the World Cup, in a moment. But just before we move on, a big player you had at Inter Milan, Ronaldo.
Yes.
Played with him, trained with him. Just how good was he? Because many people say that, you know, if it wasn't for injuries, perhaps he could have gone on to be, you know, one of the best ever.
Especially the bad knee injury he got whilst at Inter.
Yeah. But for me, I think Ronaldo was the first player in the year '90 to be this modern player, you know, capable to play alone in front, you know, to go on the right, on the left, to be surrounded by 3-4 defenders and switch, turn, dribble, and it was very technically scoring goal in any position. You know, it was, you know, before you had striker, the real one, number 9, stay on the box and waiting for the cross. Ronaldo, he was capable to stay on the box, but his game, it was a modern game, running everywhere, coming back sometimes very deep in the midfield, and smart, bright, intelligent, you know, dedicated to the team, dedicated because he knew that playing for the team will play for him, and I think he is what he showed and why Ronaldo was so important, and he will remain so important in the life of the football because he showed that football first is not just about numbers, succession of trophy. No, it was more winning with the team. You know, have pleasure with the give emotion. He was someone who was all the time thinking about the beauty of the game, and I had the chance to play with Ronnie, and is a good friend of mine, and he really bring the football at a different level.
Some friend to have.
Yeah. I asked him to lose some weight because I want him to play for exhibition game because it's so bright. It's like the sunshine.
So yeah, of course, France '98 to lift the World Cup on French soil. I mean, just tell us about how good it was to be a part of that. It must have been magnificent.
Yes, because you're playing home.
Mm.
You're playing home. You're playing with your friends, with people who train, live, share life ID. Fought for 4 years now. Same group, more or less, and one objective. One objective is to for the first time. Sorry,
Okay.
you good? Okay. For the first time, winning the World Cup, and it was our objective 2 years before the tournament, and every day we were preparing ourselves to be ready for the moment. It's for that when we are starting the tournament, we were already ready to facing adversity, to facing injustice, to facing pressure, to facing anything, because we were working for a long time for this moment.
A team full of special players, that France team.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Yes. If I was to ask you to pick out one player who was maybe slightly above the rest in that team, who would you pick?
To be honest, it would be unfair for me to just say Zizou, to just say Zidane, because Desailly, Barthez, Laurent Blanc, Petit, Henri, Vieira, they're all my friends, you know.
You'll be expecting so many people.
Yeah. Thuram, Lizarazu, all these names. If you, okay, of course, Zizou is the best, but in this moment, in this team, every player was really important, and it's for that I think at the end Zizou did the best for him and for the team, because he knew that he was carrying by good fellas.
Yeah, what a player Zidane was. Super player.
Yes, of course. Hey, one of the best, Ballon d'Or, but more than the Ballon d'Or is what he achieved in his life and what he's continued to achieve with Real Madrid.
So I was looking at the tournament from start to finish the other day, France 98. France got through the group pretty easily. But then in the next round, it could have gone wrong there, couldn't it? Italy only won on penalties. I mean, what was that game like to play? And it looked like quite a tight game.
We know, you know, when like you say, we go through the first round easily, and we had, before Italy we played Paraguay, and this was maybe the tough game during the World Cup, because Paraguay, they have nothing to lose. Us is the first time where you have if you're losing the game, you're out of the tournament, you know. And because if you lose against Italy, okay, you can say, oh, yeah, we play against Italy, it's a big team. But Paraguay, it was a nightmare. We're suffering. We're scaring for the first time. We were scaring. When we play against Italy, we didn't scare at all. We know exactly what kind of game it will be, and it was this kind of game, very tough, very, very close. But Paraguay, we're really scared. We're really scared to lose. It was the first time when and where we play for not losing. During the whole tournament, we play for winning, and just Paraguay when we say we play for not losing. And this has changed the philosophy of how you start a game.
Wow. Then you're all the way to the final against Brazil. How did you feel in the build up to the game? Because obviously the biggest game of your career, correct me if I'm wrong, were you nervous, excited? What were the main emotions that were taking over you before the game?
You know, the last, let's say the last 10 days when you finish the quarter final and make you preparing for the semi-final and of course final, you're not sleeping anymore, you're not eating, and you don't care. You don't know if you have lunch, breakfast. The life is completely, you are in different zone. You know, the zone where only champion and who can be, because it's not a normal zone. And like I told you, we were preparing for this moment, but nobody. The zone for me was different for another one, but we were living very well in a group. This is very important, to have a united group, we were, of course, excited all the time. When we were, you walk on the corridor and you cross with Desailly and say, "Are you ready? Yeah. Do you know this guy? Yes." And all the time speaking about details. Oh yes, before the semi-final, no, but the Krasi, yes, we know how they're playing. They are tough, and blah blah blah. And every time our life stopped, there was no more family, no more kids, no more parents, no more friends. It was just focus on the games coming. Semi-final and final. Why semi-final was so important? Because remember 82, 86, France be on the semi-final, and all the time we lost against Germany, and we always say we are the better team than German, but we lost again, and we be feel it by all this defeat in 82 and 86, and we grow up with this defeat, and for us it was not acceptable to lose in semi-final. And we were like ready for the war. And when the final arriving, you know that you help or not better, but you're ready for this moment.
And the final, I mean, I'm sure most football fans will have been looking at the game, France against Brazil, two top teams, probably going to be a close game. Ended up 3-0. You played in the game. How come it ended up being a 3-0 victory for France? Because normally in games like that, it's quite cagey, one goal either way. How come it ended up being like that?
And a follow-up from me, Youri, is obviously it's known for the Ronaldo incident prior to the game, and as it happened, was that, even though it kind of bittersweet from a sense that you won the World Cup, but a friend of yours has obviously had something happen that was maybe not so great.
Yeah, and yes, because we had. I plugged my phone because we okay. Imagine the day of the final. We are on the bus, trying to arrive in the Stade de France. It took us 2 hours because people they were crazy. Stop the car in the périphérique. We were driving with the escort, but impossible to be not on time, but to go faster. We arrived at the stadium, no chance to go to see the field because the ceremony was playing, and we were waiting in the locker rooms, starting to do your routine before a game. And suddenly this rumors on the locker room, and Ronaldo is playing, Ronaldo is not playing, Ronaldo is sick, Ronaldo, and everything was, nobody know about what's going on, and I went out to my locker room. Okay, I was sit and I said, I'm going to ask him. I went out to the locker room. I walked to the Brazilian locker room. I knock on the door. They open the door. I say, I want to see my friend Ronaldo. Yeah, of course, come inside. I'm sitting with Ronnie, and I told him, "Are you okay?" Yeah, of course I'm okay. And are you sure you're okay? Yes, I'm sure I'm okay. Are you sure? Because everybody, no, I'm good, because I'm going to beat you, but I want you to be 100%. I want no excuses, because now it's 2 years, we're training every day, 2 years that we playing this game between us after every training, and now is the time, now is a real one. Are you okay or not? He told me, yes, I'm okay, don't worry. I will be on the field. And I'm back in the locker room. I say, now Ronaldo will play, and he's good. Just be ready to be sure that he will not score goals. But it's for us, and knowing my privilege to know Ronaldo, for me, we were already inside the game, so deep that nobody can affect us. And when we went out to the locker room, we were all dressed, ready for go on the field. And at this moment, we knew that we were going to win the game.
You were already 1-0 up mentally.
Yes. And I love the Brazilian shirt. I love the Brazilian spirit. I love the Brazilian character. You know, they are proud. They have different color. They have this yellow shirt, shining. But I know that we're going to beat Brazil and we're going to win the cup.
And of course, you won the cup, Youri.
Yes.
I mean, I don't really know how you can answer.
Because it's something that, and your main question was how you beat Brazil 3-0, and for a final, normally the final is very complicated because maybe we did the best game ever played in national team, but everybody, sometimes in the team you have 1 player, 2 player, 4 player at the top level, and the rest is normal, and sometimes you have 1 or 2 they're not in the game. The 11 players, if you're watching the game, every detail, when I'm speaking about detail, every player did an amazing game. You can take the repartee of each player. It's like it was, it's never happening when all the team plays so well, and us is happening in final.
Yeah, what a perfect day for everyone to have.
Yes, perfect day. Yeah, really perfect day.
I was just going to ask you there, Youri. I don't know how well you can describe it, but how does it feel lifting the World Cup? Because obviously millions of boys dream of that, don't they? And you've obviously got the chance to do it.
Me included.
And especially in your place, in France, and this is that is for life. That how we did it, because when I told you we are a band of brothers, player who were building the story of the national team by our character, by our color, by our diversity, by our knowledge, by our behavior. And I think it's French people recognize something in us that never be before. It's for that even today we still the hero for the nation, because we make something happening, and we make even people were not dreaming by one day we will win the World Cup, but we did it because we were not dreaming, we were preparing, and we wanted to give it to our people. And I think this is why we receive so much love and respect by our concitoyens.
2 years earlier, the European Championships in England, 1996. Were you disappointed as a team to only get to the semi-finals of that competition?
It's a starting point. England
Did it spur you on for the 98, so to speak?
Yes, and we were frustrated by our technical department because we agree after we asked them, and we realized why we didn't show up in England or preparing for England to winning the tournament, and not just to participate and to do it well. I'm sure if you were ready 1 year, and if we were preparing 1 year before to go to England and win the tournament, we will have a great chance to win the tournament. And the mistake that we did in '96 helped us to win in '98 and 2000.
And then you had 2000, the next European Championships in Holland and Belgium. To win the World Cup in '98 and the Euros in 2000. That was an unbelievable era for French football, wasn't it?
Yes, yes, because I was between 98 and 2000. I was between Inter Milan and Kaiserslautern in Germany, but I was all the time with friends or players from different nationality in my team, and they were telling me honestly, but they were watching every game from the national team, the French national team, first because they were enjoying watching us, and every time they were scaring playing against us. I have such a great name, great player. They were telling me that we know before the game, but we're going to lose. But the most scary thing is we're not going to touch the ball. We're not, it's this what we were at the best. These 4 years of supremacy of the French boys, and I think we bring something new in the football. It was the modern football. We were the team to go or in attack or in defense, the most quick team to adapt the game and to have different option during the game, to change, playing with 3 in front or just 1 in front, to have a midfield at 5, 3 defender, and very easily. Sometimes the coach needed to wait for the half time to make some adjustment. Us in 5 minutes, the coaches give it advices, and we can switch very easily during the game. This was one of the weapon of our team.
What was Euro 2000 like to play in? How did you feel going through that tournament?
It's like going to the pub. You know that you will have a good moment.
With the team that good year, you probably got a 99% chance of doing well.
But listen, it was we always laughing between us because the first day we arrived in Belgium, we knew that the tournament it would be for us. And if you're looking for the final, Italy against us in the last 5 minutes, we have at least 3 chances in front of Barthez where we can score and close the game. And when they didn't take the chance, and us in the last second we score 1 goal, and the golden goal we score 2nd goal, and it was over. I mean, because it was our time, and we were the best team in the world at this moment. And I think I say that because we won the World Cup and the European Cup. It was never did before us. I think Spain did it after, but before never happening.
It must have been an incredible feeling when David Trezeguet scored the goal there, the golden goal.
And I really, golden goal, it was something very exciting,
It was, wasn't it? I miss it. I really miss it.
Yeah, today is too much commercial. We want the half time to make money. But the golden goal, it was amazing. It was so exciting for the fan, for the player. For the player, you don't play the same thing when you know that the golden goal exists. First, you give it opportunity to everybody to can score, because we did it against Paraguay. If Paraguay scores a goal, you don't say, I have 15 minutes to turn back. No, it's done. The game is done in 98 on the World Cup in 98. We have the same issue with Italy, but no, I really love the golden goal. It was a very exciting moment.
Yeah, your time playing for France was obviously hugely successful. I mean, it's maybe took some years for France to get back to that level, but they're back at that level now. I mean, what do you think to the France team? Because there's some top quality players in there. I mean, particularly one name that stands out, Kylian Mbappe.
I really like the new generation. I mean, there's a great opportunity for France. 2016, you lost in the final home against Portugal. 2018, you won the World Cup, and they open a cycle, and I'm sure the next World Cup they will be very difficult to beat, and we have a great chance to win a second World Cup on the road. I think it's very interesting because first with the new leader as a Mbappe, you can project you in a good future, and what is important is show the character to be leader and to be a leader individual and collectively. And this is very important when you play national team.
And looking back away from the national team picture now, back to you and your club career. 1999, you moved to Germany, signed for Kaiserslautern. How was your time with the club?
For me, it was a very important move because after all the year playing at the Latin world, France and Italy, it was important. I have the opportunity to go to Spain, or to stay in Italy. But for me, Germany, it was an experience I wanted to have, and for me, it was really important because it was a direct football. In Germany, there's always ball, always running, always something, a good quality of game, a lot of goals, fans unbelievable, and I had a great first year in Germany with Otto Rehagel, who was an amazing coach. The stadium was fantastic, the fans too. But after for personal reason, I have difficulty and problem with my one of the coaches, and I have to leave from Germany. But in Germany, I had good time before my problems. The problem, but the coaches make it. For me, it was time to leave from Germany.
How did the Bundesliga compare to Serie A?
It's totally different. It's totally different. I think it's Bundesliga is recommended because it's an exciting game in terms of quality. Player wanted to play all the time at 100%. We're trying to using the best of his football. Sometimes, let's say that sometimes if I compare to England, they don't care about if it's nice ball or not a nice ball. In Germany, they care. The midfield and the defender, they want to cross all the time, to make an impact on the offensive way. It's a very open football. Very, very interesting.
And then, Youri, we're excited to talk to you about this part of your career.
Best move of all of them.
2002, Youri moved to Bolton Wanderers. How did that happen?
I don't know.
We don't know either.
We don't know either.
Crazy things. This is a good things of life. Sometimes things happening and you don't know why at the beginning, but after it seems that Bolton needs me and me needs Bolton, not just as a player but in my life. Of course, Big Star was really important in my venue. He came to Germany. We had a dinner together. He told me what he was expecting from someone like me, and very honestly, he described me the environment, the stadium, the people, the team, and I knew before to sign it that what I will expecting, and this honesty on his description was really good, because when I arrived, it was exactly what Al was telling me. And and it was a real challenge, real sportive challenge. How can I make sure that in maybe 12 game, remaining 12 game, in a short time, how can I be impacting, how can I have an impact on the game, on the club, on my player around me, on the against my adversary. Oh, it was really challenging, and I believe on myself, and believe I was exciting and curious about moving to England, because I always have an image of the football in England. You know, we French and in English people, we are cousin. You know, sometimes you hate your cousin, sometimes you like your cousin. and I think before to have all these prejudices on the English people and English football, what the best to do is to move to Bolton and to see by myself. And I was not disappointed. I was not disappointed a lot. Bolton, it was opposite where I live, where I did all my life. I live in a big city. I play in a big club. I play in a big stadium. But the heart of the people in Bolton, it was so big that all these things that sometimes could bore you or make you unhappy, it was completely disappeared. And the first day when I went to the Reebok Stadium and I walk on the Reebok Stadium, I feel it like home. You know, I feel it like I'm surrounded by my people. And I really enjoy this time in Bolton.
Yeah, well, what did you think to the? Obviously, you've lived in France, you know, in Italy, in Germany. How was England different in terms of like living there?
But I mean, in
Did you
England,
understand us, Youri? Did you understand any of what we said? As in, like, the Bolton people?
No. You know, it's what I was expecting and what I didn't expect in England is a direct football. If you do something well, people feel it, applause. Your partner congratulate you, and it could be a tackle, a pass, a control. And this is crazy because in Italy, if you control well, nobody applauds you.
Like an expectation.
If you do a long ball in a deep area, people boo you. No, in England, let's go. But this total football, I call it total football, was amazing and really good. You know, you it's a pure football. Sometimes it's brutal, sometimes it's nice, sometimes it's ugly, sometimes it's beautiful, sometimes it's poet, sometimes it's hard, but it's pure football. I think you are born for this kind of football. And as a player, if you don't have this experience once in your life, you will miss something. And I was really happy to have this experience as a player. And I was thinking totally differently from outside. But coming in England, doing my step, because I did it my step to come in England, I did it my step to sign for Bolton, I did it my step to enjoy in the Reebok Stadium. You know, the people giving me back milliard times much more than I was expecting.
Did you always like the idea of coming to the Premier League? Because what did you know about the Premier League already? Because obviously there's a lot of big clubs in England. But were you ever attracted to coming to the Premier League earlier in your career at any stage?
Yeah, because you know, but it was. I mean, I was it was more a challenge, but I was not crazy about Premier League. You know, like I was crazy for Italy. I was crazy for Spain. You know, for me, Premier League, when I was playing in Italy, it was, you know, you were playing a friendly game against Manchester United or Liverpool. It was a pre-season. For us, it was pre-season, you know, and today is opposite. But you know, it was not the big goal for a big player to play in Premier League, but it changed a lot. Now, if you want to, you know, you have to play for Chelsea, you have to play for Arsenal, you have to play for Man U, Man City, you know, and not anymore for Inter or Milan or some club in Spain too.
So looking at your time with Bolton, 2 full seasons, what was your favourite moment? If you could pick a moment out from the 2 seasons, your favourite moment, what would you say, Youri?
Let's say 2 campaigns, the surviving campaign for the first year, where every game was a battle, because you know that if you're losing a game or you draw, you're going to be retrocess and not playing anymore in Premier League. Every game, when you play Chelsea, when you play Man U, you know, Arsenal, and when you beat this kind of team, you know, with not big name, not you know, just real real player, you know, not fancy player, and you know, and you starting to making all the team, all the fan of the club believe, and yes, we can do something. Yes, we can stay in Premier League. Yes, we can beat this kind of club, and the belief that we bring at this moment is starting to make the club growing up. And the year after, you know, the campaign for the cup, and the campaign in the league was amazing year, one of the best for Bolton, and in terms of football, in terms of impact, in terms of how do you say, of quality of the game, because after we really had the quality, is not it was not the kind of football that we were playing at the beginning. It was really, you know, structured, the level of what we were delivering at this time in second year was one of the best I'm sure in Bolton, with great player, of course, a great team, more players coming from outside. Bolton starting to be on the map. It was already on the map, but bringing some name, but not just name to say, yeah, they just come here. Player who want to be invest in the club, who want to be really care about everything. I remember we had discussion with Phil Garza, with Sam Allardyce about the future of the club, how we can adjust it, how can we be better on the health, on the food, on the training ground, on the way out to traveling. It was something very important for as a player, but as a part of the club too.
So, judging from what you've said there, even though you were only at Bolton for 2 years, it felt like the club were going in the right direction, going up.
Yeah. I mean, it's to pick at this moment, because you don't have many chances in terms of financial opportunity, you know, to pick the good player at the good moment with the right mentality. It's not every year you can do what we did in this time, you know, what Sam bring to Bolton, or what each player from me or JJ or Ivan or Bruno Ngotti, or all these players who came in Bolton and understood at the moment that there's a mission here, and the mission is to bring the club in a different level, and it's what we did.
Mikey, what would you say is the goal that stands out, Youri's goal that stands out to you? Because the one in my head at the minute is the overhead kick at Charlton.
Absolutely. 100%. Me and my dad, I was too young to probably go to the away games, but watching it back on Match of the Day, you see the build-up and you think, he's not going to do that. He's done it. Oh, it's gone him. It's what a goal that is. It was special. It was really, really special. My dad said before he was a magician, and I can only agree.
Merci, thank you. It's you always score crazy goal when you are in a good not mood but in confidence, when you are in a good spirit, in a good environment, and all the goal I scored for Bolton, I was my partner around me put me in a position to score this kind of goal.
So there were a lot of good players that played for Bolton at that time. The fans still talk about it now. It was almost an era where, the likes of yourself, JJ Kocher, Ivan Campo, these were players that they could have never dreamed of playing for their club. Who would you say was the best player you played with at Bolton?
I would say
he has to think. That's a good sign. It's a good sign. He has to think.
Yeah, I would say Ivan, because Ivan is my brother too. Yeah, and I remember why Ivan Campo, because if you know Ivan, you arrive in Bolton in difficulty in his previous club, and for him it was more a challenge, a human challenge, And I remember because he arrived, we connected because we play against each other in a big club, and the first minute we become friends, and I know how hard sometimes it was for him, and how much work and how much love he bring it to the fans and to the players too. And I think Ivan was someone very special in my life of football, and I was proud to play with him.
One man who's sort of in the middle of all this, these successful areas, these players, Sam Allardyce, brought you to Bolton. What was he like to work with? How much did he help that group of players to move on to the next level?
Sam was really good. Sometimes to make it. To let it players doing whatever they're thinking that they can do, but he was controlling by behind. He was smart to never go in front of the player, and he loved the club. He really loved the club. I think. After he had, I know that he had a problem in different clubs, but the time what I spent in Bolton, I know 100% that he really care and love the club. And this was important because when you manager, sometimes can make some mistake, of course, but you know that the mistake that he's making is because he's thinking about the club, and the club. It was something that it was really important in our relationship. Sam was very enthusiastic to share, to learn, to learn how in my different club I was working, or this kind of coach was working to, and our experience, mutual experience and exchange and partnership was very good, and he knew how to manage me. He knew how to make sure that I will be at my best when it will be the time to be at my best.
In every dressing room, there's big characters, and I'm sure you've played with plenty of big characters during your career. In that Bolton team, you have players from all over the world, different nationalities.
The continental whites.
Yeah, exactly. who were the big characters in that changing room, Youri? Who were the biggest characters?
The biggest one, I think we had a great character. I know sometimes I was pretending to not speak English. I know sometimes that we were pretending to not understanding French. Would
you say you were one of the big personalities in the change room, Youri?
One, of course, of course, I was acting like him, but I remember, and Kevin Nolan was one of the kids at the beginning. He had a great character too. Goodney was he was the captain, and he was someone who was very
superb for Bolton. Superb.
Yeah. No, I mean, Ivan, JJ, yes. It was our duty to us, experienced player, foreign player, international player, to show and to bring character in the locker room.
And one major disappointment from that era, the 2004 Carling Cup final, the defeat to Middlesbrough. Obviously, the team had progressed to a point where they were getting to cup finals, but how disappointing was it to lose that game?
Yes, we were. We missed the game totally. We completely didn't play this game, and it's a pity, because that you have not so many chances to play a final with a club like a Bolton, and we knew that this is a great opportunity for the club, for the fans, and for the players. But we didn't play well. We I think why we playing Cardiff? It was a final, but without being a final, and
I completely understand that.
Yeah, it's the atmosphere was far from what we were expecting. The game was you didn't have the feeling that was a final.
Yeah, I think that was important for English football to get those domestic finals back to Wembley once it rebuilt.
Of course, the final is in Wembley. That's it.
Absolutely. And a controversial penalty as well. But we won't go into that. We won't go into that one.
So would you say in that game then, just to sort of sum it up, would you say that obviously there were loads of different factors, but would you say that the start was just too poor a start? Was it a big mountain to climb after a poor start to the game? Because they scored twice in the first 10 minutes, I believe.
Yeah, but it's you can watch the game, you can turn it, you can put in a replay and reverse it. At the end, we lost the final, and for me, is what I said to the club. From you learning from your defeat, and what is important is to continue what we did. The campaign for the final was amazing. We beat all the big clubs, it was. I mean, for me, it was the beginning. When you arrive in the final, you play in this level of the game. Every game was a good game. At this year's, and for me, I said yes. We in a short time, very short time, we did something that some in a club make maybe 5 years, 6 years to arrive at this level. Now in 2 years, we were talking about last year, the year before, to go in the second division, English second division. Now we play in a final. We are top of the league, and the future is and the present and the future is shining because we're ready. And I think this is what was important at this moment. Yes, more than I know that a cup will have changed a lot, but for me, more than the cup, it was the parcours, the progress that the team did it in a short time that we had together.
And then after leaving Bolton, obviously it was a brief spell at Blackburn.
Yeah.
The situation regards to leaving Bolton, was it disappointing to leave after 2 years, or what was the situation there?
Yeah, it was. When I left for holidays, we had an agreement with the club to restart the season, and during my break, they broke this arrangement, and I didn't understand it. Why, not why. Any explanation will not justify this way, because I always be fair with the club. I didn't need it to sign any paper. If I shake hand, it's shake hand. This is my way in my life, and but they told me that I will have a position in Bolton, but we have to renegotiate the contract, everything. I said, you know what? If you want to make some movement, don't worry. Just let me know, and me, I'm leaving because in this club, I'm not here to make adjustment or to be a half of what I am. I signed it. I came here, and if I have to leave, I will leave. But I'm not here to thinking about maybe 2 games, 1 game, salary, and this. So this is not the way that I'm thinking. I was ready to move back to France. I have an offer from Monaco. And in the meantime, Blackburn called me and said, my family were at the school in Manchester. 3 kids. They were at sales school, and they were very happy in Manchester. And I was happy to live in Manchester. And then for me, it was not the time to retire yet, and Monaco, I was already playing Monaco. And Blackburn offered me, but I asked Blackburn to sign 3 months contract, because I was in contact with New York 1 year before, and I say, okay, they give me a chance. If I'm happy in Blackburn, I stay in Blackburn. If I'm unhappy, I can move without any problem. And when I arrived in Blackburn, the atmosphere was great. Great player, but I've been injured after 2 games, and I never had the chance to show to the club my football. And I was, it was a small parenthesis. We closed the parenthesis. The club, we canceled the agreement, and after I moved to New York.
Yeah, you became the first French player to play in the MLS. What was it like playing over there once you'd signed for New York?
Mind blowing. It must have been.
It's crazy because I did the press conference at the Madison Square Garden for
Wow.
yeah. And, yes, it's America, and it was really the beginning of the football, professional football in US. And I was a pioneer as a French first, like you say, first French player, but as a European players and World Cup winner. There were just few foreign players playing in the US, and for me, it was really interesting. A challenge, when you're talking about challenge, Bolton was a challenge, New York was a challenge, and as a challenge, you need to first show your dedication in this challenge and believe it in this challenge. It's what I did with Bolton, and it's what I did with New York. I spent 2 years in playing with Red Bull, first MetroStar, and after we switch and we become Red Bull team, New York Red Bull, and it was fantastic because I play with young player who become after international well-known player for US, and with a great coach, Bradley and Bruce Arena, the two best coach in US, and I was very happy. It was the end of my life, and the football life, end of my career, but the beginning of something, because because after my 2 years in New York, I spent 15 years in New York. 15 years. My kids went to the college. I have very, very interesting life in New York. I learned a lot about myself, about the life, about the football, and this experience bring me a good way to finish my life, football life, but a good way to start a new life. And New York is, especially US, is the perfect place to do it.
Wow, I didn't realize you lived there for so long, Youri. You must have really enjoyed it over there.
Yeah. I was good because I was working for different sport industry in France. Become ambassador for PSG in US. Working with the French league in North America, and doing TV transmission in France. I was very busy in Europe with football business, but I was involved in the football in US too, where it's totally different but very interesting. If you're talking about business, marketing, how to create a league, or to create content, then the US are number one in the world for sport. If you're looking for basketball, football American, any sport, major sport, they're number one. And it was interesting at this time to work with US league to understand how football can one day compete with the old big sport in US.
During your career, Youri, after it had finished, you've been involved in a lot of charity work all over the world. I read you've been involved in charity work in the United States, in Armenia as well, which obviously is a country close to your heart. Just tell us a bit about some of the work that you've been involved in.
Today I'm in charge. I am the CEO of the FIFA Foundation. I'm living in Zurich. My work since October 2019 is to make sure that a company like FIFA, it's a huge company. It's a number one company in football, but not just in football. In FIFA, we are. It's like a big agency, like UN, like all these agencies in the world. We are member association everywhere, and something what was missing at the FIFA, it's the part of the charity, this world where the power of FIFA can help different community, and they created in 2018 the foundation, but since October I'm in charge of the foundation, totally in charge. They give me all possibility to create it and to build a strategy for the next 10 years for using the power of football for the benefit of the people. And this is very important, because today we know the money that is engaged in football, but what we don't know if there's a lot of community without access of football, or football is become too high level or too professional that people or kids don't go anymore to the football. We're trying to create it first, to listening and learning about what the needed of the people. And this job is a full-time job, and most of my time I'm traveling and going on the field, meeting with head of state or head of federation, of a club, and talking about how we can help some states sometimes, some country other time, or some club to develop for the benefit, all the time for the benefit of the kids, boys and girls, or men and women. This is my new job.
Well, that's fantastic, Youri. That sounds absolutely brilliant. I just want to say thanks for allowing us to speak to you today. It's been an absolute pleasure.
It's really important. I mean, I'm waiting. Can you make a message for me to all the Bolton fans? I'm waiting for any kind of exhibition game at the Reebok Stadium. I know that it's not the Reebok Stadium anymore, but
it'll always be the Reebok Stadium.
Yeah, it'll always be the Reebok. Can someone organize an exhibition game with all the friends and bring it joy and pleasure to this fantastic stadium, and for the fantastic fans to try to play a game between us, and it would be fantastic.
Yeah, well, that'd be amazing.
That'd be amazing.
Could do something.
But it's your duty now, guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this
is on us now, Youri.
This is your mission. Your next mission is to organize this game.
Fantastic. Okay, thank you, Youri. Thank
Youri,
you.
just one more from me.
Yes.
When I was a bit younger, I said to my sister I wanted a Youri Djorkaeff signed France top. Believe it or not, and I was so keen on having it. And I went to my mum and said, I wonder if I've still got it. Well,
la 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 la.
I found it and the signature's there and everything. I could not believe.
Yeah.
Well, Mike, that is a diamond.
This is one of my prized possessions, let me tell you. But yes, there it is.
Merci very much. Merci. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You know, we sometimes, and this is important what you say. It's you traveling, you're going to the stadium, you're sharing your life is for the club and for the player who represent your club, you know, and our life is the same. We are on the field, but we feel it, and me especially, I feel it. What you were, shouting when you were in the stand, or when you were scary about the last 5 minutes, and this is the beauty of the life. I mean, we were blessed by I don't know, God or whatever, but we were blessed to have this thing, I think.